On today's episode of the Cryptoverse, I would like to talk to you about Zap, which is a Bitcoin Lightning wallet app. But first, a correction of a really silly mistake I made yesterday. You know, yesterday when I was talking about Hedera Hashgraph, well, I failed to notice that the acronym that I used, which was Directed Acyclic Graph, abbreviates to DAG, rather than DAC. So I said DAC, DAC, is confusing since it's also a acronym that means Decentralized Autonomous Community. And Directed Acyclic Graph, and I got the two confused, which is stupid when the third word in both of those acronyms, they don't even start with the same letter. So I'm sure that came across really stupid, because I was saying like DAC can get confused with Directed Acyclic Graph when the last letter isn't a C. So apologize for that. Don't know what happened to my brain. Maybe it's still jet lag from my trip or something. I have no idea. But anyway, that's corrected. I'm glad I didn't get murdered in the comments. One person pointed it out, but they did it with kindness, so I appreciate that very much. Ordinarily, I would get absolutely murdered for something like that. But human being, you know, it's a momentary lapse in concentration. So I haven't lost my mind, just temporarily. So it's back now. The next thing is that many of you subscribers were asking what's happening with the EOS tips channel. And many of you seem to really want more EOS content, which is actually why I set up a separate channel in the first place, so as not to spam the main channel. Yet the main channel is still getting a ton of comments asking for EOS oriented videos. So not quite sure what to do about that. The truth is that most recently, the most recent EOS tips video was posted like several weeks ago, which is a long time given how much EOS news has been coming out recently. But because I have the rest of my business to run, I have to keep it to like one piece of free content per day. So that might mean alternating between the Cryptoverse and then EOS tips, or what's probably a better idea, come to think of it, is doing one day a week on EOS tips and then the rest on the Cryptoverse. So I'll have to select a day of the week, maybe a Friday, when I do EOS tips and then give the Cryptoverse a break and then spend the rest of the week doing, Cryptoverse oriented content. Actually, I'm pretty sure that's the approach I'm going to take, but in this new phase, I'm taking more influence from subscribers, as I mentioned, and your requests. So please let me know what you think to that. How about, assume I do a piece of content every day, including weekends. That's 7 possible pieces of content per week, right? How about 6 and 1, or whatever ratio, right? Even if it was 1 and 1 EOS for Cryptoverse, whatever. Let me know what you think. Anyway. The main problem though is that the EOS tips channel loses money since it doesn't have the ability to run ads right now, and I don't have a mini course to sell off the back end or anything like that. But they're fixable problems in time. It just, I still need to put videos out on the EOS tips channel to get over the threshold that YouTube require in order to enable ads, number one. And number two, if I wanted to put together a introduction to EOS mini course that people could buy in order to support the channel, that would also take a bit of time as well. And I'd have to invest the time in that. And as ever, investing time in one thing is not investing it in something else. So allocating your time and energy is the number one most important thing when you're trying to achieve something. Anyway, enough of that. Now on to today's topic. Again, by request of a subscriber, we're going to discuss the results of my research into installing a Bitcoin wallet that works with the Lightning Network. Now, I do not deem this research to be exhaustive because I only invested one research session in it, but that was enough to get a result. Now, my research led me to download the Zap desktop wallet. That's ZAP, which is available for multiple operating systems, and I'll give you the link in just a second here. Now, when I downloaded it, I got a Windows 10 warning message telling me not to run this app because it was unrecognized. So the publisher of the software is unknown to Microsoft, and that doesn't surprise me at all. Now, I have a paid subscription with Bitdefender Antivirus, and I downloaded it from the official GitHub repository, so I accept the consequences and I installed it anyway. So the URL I went to, if you want to get a copy of this Zap desktop wallet, It's github.com, so github.com/LN, like lightning, like Lima November, hyphen or dash, whichever way you want to say it, zap, /zap-desktop/releases. Now, once I got it installed, it immediately occurred to me that there is a business model for these Lightning wallets and the software companies behind them, which is for them to operate as relays on the Lightning Network, right? Like act as gateways into the Lightning Network for the users of their wallets. And the benefit of that is that the hub, the Lightning Network wallet developers could earn fees on the money flow. So this keeps competition intact, because if you don't like the service you're getting from Zap, say, you could just switch to a different wallet provider, and then that alternative wallet provider will run a hub and they'll be getting the fees for all your transactions. To me, this was the kind of dream. When I started Cryptoversity, I thought, how do I make the education free was what I was trying to do. And I thought, okay, maybe if I have a wallet developed, like a traditional Bitcoin wallet, and maybe if every transaction that's done through the Cryptoversity Bitcoin wallet, it includes like 1 Satoshi in the transaction that goes to, the Cryptoversity wallet. And then it'd just be a case of getting loads and loads of users, and I'd be getting 1 Satoshi for every single transaction that all of my users made, right? Didn't end up happening that way, and I don't think that would work anyway. 1 Satoshi inputs to that wallet would just make it horrendously expensive anytime you wanted to get that money out, right? So anyway, and that was just one of many projects. Like I just said a minute ago, when you're trying to achieve something, especially in business, there's always more to do than you have time for. So it becomes less about time management and more about getting your value system in order and then focusing on your number one priority. Since you can only do a few things, in the grand scale of things, you're only going to get a few things done. So once you accept that fact, you just focus on doing the few things that make the most difference. So that's how I dissolved a lot of my time anxiety and stress around how much stuff I was getting done. That was actually Brian Tracy. Since I can only do a few things, what are the few things that I can do to make the most difference? And back to the Cryptoversity Bitcoin wallet, I just determined that wasn't the highest priority, and I focused on other things, because primarily I'm in the education business, not in the software business. So that was one of the principal reasons why I didn't do it. But this business model I just came up with the Zap wallet developers, it might work a lot better on the Lightning Network, since it's off-chain. Therefore, single Satoshis can be transacted, right? So as it happens with Zap, you can actually connect to any node you like on the Lightning Network. So that's not their business model, because it just wouldn't work. You download their software, connect to someone else's hub, and it cuts them out of the loop completely. So that's not their business model anyway. I'm just saying that was my idea. Now, because I opted to create a new Lightning wallet with Zap, I was given a new 24-word seed, which is the recovery phrase. If I ever want to recover my wallet, if it goes wrong or I lose it, or want to move my key over to another wallet. So once I got that 24-word phrase, I did what I always do when I create a new wallet, which is I went ahead and saved that in a safe place, and then I verified it when the wallet asked me for it. Again, it only asked me for 3 of the words, which always bothers me, because let's say that the 3 words that it happens to ask you for, let's say you wrote those down correctly and wrote all the other ones down incorrectly. Technically, that would mean that the wallet would verify that you had re-entered the 3 words you asked for correctly, but that doesn't mean you wrote the entire phrase down correctly. You get me? So that always concerns me a little bit. Maybe there's a technical point I'm missing here that means that 3 words is enough, and it means, but anyway, let me know about that in the comments below if you've got a technical knowledge of how that works. Now, the first time I loaded up the wallet after I set it up, it was stuck on this loading screen for about 20 minutes. And after about 20 minutes, I thought, giving up here. So I closed the app and reopened it again. The app wasn't frozen because the animation was still running. It was like a cloud with a lightning icon, being redrawn over and over and over again. But after waiting for 20 minutes, I figured that was long enough. And I determined that something has to be wrong. So closed the app, reopened it again, it asked me for my password, which I entered. Only this time, the Windows firewall popped up and it immediately asked me, is it okay to let the LND app through the firewall? So I said yes. And it didn't do that the first time. So that was progress. After that, I saw this screen that looked quite encouraging. So it had this progress bar on it and it said syncing to the blockchain above the progress bar. And it said waiting for peers below the progress bar. And it also said that I may as well fund my Zap wallet while I was waiting because it might take some time, but it didn't display any kind of Bitcoin address or a QR code. In fact, there was no interactive elements whatsoever, so that kind of confused me. Bear in mind during this whole process, the current version of the Zap wallet, it's the 0.2 beta version as I would say in England. So, you can expect, I don't know, can we even expect it to work? I suppose beta version, it should technically work. It just might have bugs in it, but let's move on here. So I couldn't fund my wallet and it just sat there for a little while. Nothing I could click on. The progress bar also didn't move for a whole 15 minutes. I was sat waiting on this screen and I'm like, okay, progress bar isn't moving. Doesn't seem to be syncing with the blockchain. Nothing I can do about it. So this is where I kind of decided to end the experiment for the day, because when I looked at my system resources in Windows, my internet connection was showing little to no data flowing backwards and forth. Like, tiny, every so often there would be a burst of like 8 kilobytes. And that could be anything. That could be, my antivirus checking for updates and anything like that. So definitely the Zap wallet wasn't doing anything. So I was like, okay, fine. I actually did this experiment on my laptop while writing and researching today's episode. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to repeat this whole process of downloading the wallet and so on my desktop computer, which is way more powerful. And more importantly, it's connected to my router via Ethernet, like a wired connection, rather than my laptop that was on Wi-Fi. I want to see if that makes a difference. I can't imagine it will because the Wi-Fi was working absolutely fine. But let's see if that makes any difference and I'll report back on that. So, sorry this was inconclusive, but you're getting the benefit of my research in almost real time here. Plus, it's not my job to solve all your crypto problems, but rather to take this journey into crypto with you and then just be a guide whenever I possibly can. One thing I will say before I go though is that while I was playing around and experimenting, I did start to feel a bit concerned about how much Dash I'm holding. I need to think about this some more because I want to determine if that feeling was rational or irrational. But it just occurred to me that if I'm sufficiently impressed by these instant Lightning payments and the fact that they are Bitcoin payments essentially, that somewhat defeats the competitive advantage offered by Dash and its instant send feature. So that's the thought that flashed through my mind all of a sudden. Now, granted, Dash does it on-chain and these Lightning payments are off-chain, but like we discussed yesterday, I don't think the average user will even know about that or even care about it. So that's that. There is another part of me that wonders if I'm just getting upset about how altcoins like Dash have fallen so much in price lately. And that part of me is getting a bit worried about, the immediate price that I see on CoinMarketCap. But like I said, this could just easily be one of those random cases of irrationality that arises sometimes when, faced with an emotionally charged issue, like in this case, the large amount of Dash I'm holding, and then looking at CoinMarketCap and seeing it's like near $200, which is way higher than I bought it for, but so much lower than the $1,500 high that it once was at, right? So I dare say that when the next bull run kicks off, all of this crazy thinking will be forgotten and it'll be like the good old days once again. But that's all I've got for you today. So if you thought this video was absolutely terrible, you can hit that button. But if you liked it, hit the like button, get subscribed, and even grab yourself a discount coupon for any one of my online courses, which you will find down in the video description. Also, there's a bit of a special on the Secrets of the Bitcoin Triangle course and the Digital Money Revolution course, where you can get them for $19.99. So head on down to the video description and get your discount today. Also down there is a link to my Twitter profile, which you should absolutely follow me on. And if you've got a bit more time, then why not check out yesterday's episode, which was about Hedera Hashgraph and their crowd sale. Other than that, I'll be back with the next episode of the Cryptoverse. So until then, it's me, Chris Coney, saying bye for now.